What's going on, everyone? Gilman with the Wellthy Stocks, back with our daily Apple update video where we take a look at how Apple stock traded today, key levels of support and resistance that we are looking at moving into the future, and based on that, what we think Apple stock could do. So real quick, if you enjoy videos like this, don't forget to hit that like button down below, subscribe to my channel if you are new, and comment down below what your thoughts on Apple are, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there. So let me go ahead and hit record. We'll get right into it. So another red day for Apple. We're down $2.45 on the day, about 2% or so. We are actually hitting right up against that 120 level here. We've now officially gone below the opening price on Monday. So that green day that we had on Monday, between yesterday's red day and today's red day, we've now officially lost that gain. So let's take a look at an article that I want to look at real quick. Then we'll talk about how Apple stock traded today. The overall market was relatively weak, right? We got the Nasdaq down 2.01%, so Apple being down 2% isn't relatively different than the overall market with the Nasdaq. Dow Jones was basically flat on the day, right? Up 2 cents, another 52 points after hours. And then S&P was down about 0.5% in the day, during the day as well. So market's not looking too good other than some stocks in the Dow. So now let me bring this article in here from my other screen. We'll get right into it. So I know Apple's been down, but I'm trying to focus on the long game here, right? For those of you guys that know, my portfolio and are following me for a while, you know that I'm bullish on Apple long term. And I definitely think that, Apple is not necessarily a stock that I need it to go up in a week or two, right? I'm willing to hold it for longer because I see the value in it. I mean, just last week we talked about the wearables growth that they had, the services growth that they had. We talked about the bull case made by analysts, and that's why I want to look at another, analyst report here, what they see in the stock, right? Because at the end of the day, what I see, right, I'm just, another young investor in the market, but someone in a big kind of firm putting this out, I think holds a lot more weight. So let's take a look at that, right? It's pulled back from its highs in January. We know that. But, this analyst thinks that it has some room to run from here. So they have a neutral rating with a 155 price target, right? So the one I covered earlier this past weekend, right? We talked about a 175 price target with a 225 bull case and a $90 bear case. But in this case, we're talking about a 155 price target, which is a upside of 26.5%. Well, this is not the closing price today, right? The upside is even a little bit more now, maybe 28, 29% after the close today. So that's what we see here, you guys. The brokerage firm, right, Bank of America Securities, talks about that they are expanding the iPhone product set to include a broader range of phones, catering to a wider set of price bands, and continuing to reduce prices on older iPhones. As we get faster processors, larger screens, better cameras, and better battery lives with the new price bands. And currently iPhone is being sold at the $399 to $1,399, and it grew beyond $1 billion devices recently, right? So that's what we're talking about here. One thing to remember is that in the past 52 weeks, the share price is about 118% higher. So it did double year over year, and that's definitely more of a COVID fall and then recovery thing. It's not something that we can expect Apple stock to do every single year, right? I like to keep my expectations realistic. I do think it can hit 145, 150 this year, but I'm not expecting it to go from 120 to 240 this year. Could it? Absolutely. Do I think realistically that's going to happen? And is that the reason why I'm buying it? No. Just to keep it 100% honest with you guys, I do think Apple has a lot of potential to run, maybe even to the 155 that they talk here, maybe even to the 175 that we saw in the article. But not just doubling every single year, because it is Apple. It's a $2 trillion company. It's not a young growth stock. So with that being said, right, wanted to point out that even though this article was technically neutral, right, they do see the upside that Apple has for the long term. So let's talk about pre-market today, right? 324, we're pushing up right at that 123.69, got rejected at 123.60. Right out of the gate, we sold off, right? Something we've seen. We got a little bounce right there, pushed up, dropped below it, pushed up again, but then that was kind of it for the day. We made a high of 122s, almost recovering from where we kind of opened the day. And then we got a little bounce right there, broke below, try to come above 121.50. Take a look at that perfect rejection. Although I don't like the fact that we got rejected, at least we knew that it was a possibility, right? If you got these same levels on your chart. And then we sold off into the close. We're right at 120. So now it's a matter of, where we go from here. So things that I like, not much, unfortunately, today. Things that I don't like, we broke below 121.48. We ended the day below VWAP. We ended the day close to low of day. What has been going on? Why is the market like this? Well, so if you guys know, the Fed's been talking a lot this week. And, between the Fed talking, Powell, and Secretary Yellen, we are getting a lot of, talks about what the economy is doing. And a lot of what they're saying is, look, the economy is back on track. We are recovering nicely. It will still take a little bit of time for it to, continue recovering. But that's what they're talking about here. If we take a look at TNX, which are the 10-year Treasury yields, and I zoom out just a little bit, the whole issue, you guys, is the fact that, we are pretty darn close to where we were pre-COVID. Actually, pre-COVID, we're higher than we were at the beginning of COVID. But the kind of scary part here is how fast it went up pretty much from late January to, mid-March. Went from kind of being in the 10 to 16s, right? This would be like 1.61%. So that's what we're seeing here. Thankfully, that's still going down. So hopefully, there's nothing too crazy there. But what I do want to talk about is, a little bit on how that impacts the market. And with the Fed talking about it kind of on a daily basis, it does spook Wall Street a little bit because, it's not necessarily going to be the same growth that we had seen last year, because again, with the market recovering, a lot of the recovery stocks are doing a little bit better, and some of the growth stocks that had seen a lot of money inflow are seeing a little bit of money outflow into some of those recovery stocks and into some of those value stocks. So now let's talk about future levels of support, future levels of resistance, and we'll see what we see. So first level of support, we got, you guys, 120, right? Relatively simple mental support. As you can see, we've done relatively well going back to here. We've broken below it here. We've broken below it here. Both of those days on 310, 312, and even 319. 319 we closed at 119.99, quad witching related, I'm guessing. But the other couple times that we've gone below, we've always closed above it, other than this red day where we went all the way down to 116 on 308. So again, not to say that we are, definitely done with the downside. We could still see some downside. And so if we break 120, 119.09 could come next, and then 116.20. I hope we don't see 116.20 because that was kind of the low point we saw here. There was a lot of weakness, so that would imply a lot more red than I would hope for in my portfolio. So again, I'm hoping that we bounce off of this 120 or 119 and start to maybe consolidate and push up. We've been selling off, for 2 days now, and we gave up all the gains this past week. So I'm, again, hoping that we turn around from here on Thursday. Friday's typically a Friday fade, so tomorrow would kind of be the day. I'm hoping for that. But again, depending on how the market reacts with, everything going on would kind of determine how that goes. On the upside, again, the level that we broke below is 121.48, so that would be the first level that I'm looking to take over. If we can get above that, then 123.69 would come next, which is pretty darn close to where we were in the pre-market today. My goal for Apple remains the capture of the 89 EMA at 124.70. Unfortunately, we are a lot farther from it today than we were yesterday. Yesterday, that was within reach. Today, it is not. We also made a lower high and a much lower low than yesterday, which is not something that we like to see. But, that's the nature of the game, right? We have up days, we have down days. Clearly, we've seen a lot of down days recently than I would like to have. But holding my Apple shares, I do still see value in the company long term. I've got that July call going out, or that call going out to July, that I'm down on about, I think, 40% now. holding it now because I did buy myself some time, right? The reason I bought a July call and not an April call, because I wanted time on my side. Seeing how the next week or two hold, if there's continued weakness, may consider cutting it, but for now I'm holding strong. So that's all I have for you guys today. Hopefully you guys are doing all right. I know my portfolio has not been doing too well, but hey, you know, I'm not selling anything yet. What I'm looking for is, you know, the S&P is right at this 34 EMA support, as we could see, right? And I talked about this last week, but I think we could have pulled back before we broke 400s. So with that kind of crazy fast recovery that we had, that's what I was talking about, and we are seeing a little bit of a pullback. It's a matter of where we turn around. Last time, a few days ago, we turned around right at that 34 EMA. So tomorrow we'll tell if we bounce off of the 34 EMA, start to push up towards the 390, which is where we find our first level of resistance, and then 392 and 394 next. Or if we keep falling, in which case we could see another kind of 1 or 1.5% red day down to the 55 EMA. Remember that we were just kind of here a few weeks ago, right? Early March. So anything is possible. I would not kind of mark that off, right? It's too kind of fresh in my mind for me to just say, oh yeah, everything's good. So just be mindful of that, right? Keep an eye on the indices. We got a little bit of run room down to 299, 300 levels. So I'm not worried about the QQQs just yet, but that's what I'm looking at on the QQQ and the SPY to see how the overall market's doing. But yeah, that's all I had for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to my channel, comment down below what your thoughts on Apple are, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there. Let's remember to be a bit better every single day, and until next time.